Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, 3 teenagers seriously injured in fiery crash in Ringe. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
The year-end clearance is going on now at AutoFair. We've drastically reduced our famously low prices for 1 week only at all 8 AutoFair locations. So come in and get AutoFair's special year-end clearance prices today.
Car parts can be seen on the side of Perry Road in Ringe just hours after a crash that sent 3 teenagers to the hospital.
My parents told me about this when I woke up this morning, and it's just heartbreaking. It's just want to make sure he's okay.
John Martin is friends with Travis Olson, a 17-year-old in the car at the time.
Great kid. I count him as a best friend.
Olson was with 2 others, 17-year-old Chelsea Halumbo and 19-year-old Nina Colasanto. The car they were driving, a 2017 Tesla Model X, crashed into a tree, slicing it in 2, and then it burst into flames.
They heard a weird noise, and all of a sudden it was like an explosion. So I looked out the window, and it was already fully engulfed.
This man ran to the scene with his wife, and they found a girl trapped inside the car.
Well, the car was in 2 pieces, and she was evidently in the front section. That's what we pulled her out of. We pulled her through the window because it was fully engulfed. We stayed with her until the police got here, and she was in pretty rough shape. But
Colasanto was taken to UMass Worcester with serious injuries, and right now there's no word on her condition. The other 2 were taken to a local hospital and are expected to be okay. The neighbor who ran to help says he and his wife didn't think twice about helping, even though they say it was a dangerous situation.
And it's a Tesla, so it's batteries that explode. And that was going off the whole time. We were only probably not even 10 feet away from the car. Like I say, you do what you have to do.
Thankfully, there are people like that man and his wife that came to help. Now, the crash remains under investigation, but police do say that speed appears to be a factor. Reporting in Ringe, Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Boston Marathon bombers' lawyers want death sentenced tossed. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
The year-end clearance is going on now at AutoFair. We've drastically reduced our famously low prices for 1 week only at all 8 AutoFair locations. So come in and get AutoFair's special year-end clearance prices today.
Joe Tsarnaev's attorneys say the court's first mistake was denying their repeated request to move the trial because the attacks received so much coverage. In a 500-page brief, Tsarnaev's lawyers say, quote, virtually every single prospective juror was familiar with that publicity and had been affected personally by the crimes and their aftermath, and thus had formed negative, entrenched preconceptions about Tsarnaev's guilt and the appropriate sentence. Tsarnaev's lawyers also alleged problems with jurors and certain testimony from survivors. Plus, they say a judge refused to let them tell jurors about links between Tsarnaev's older brother and an unsolved triple killing back in 2011. The defense says that hurt their argument that Tsarnaev was just an impressionable teenager under the influence of his brother, Tamerlan. You'll remember Tamerlan Tsarnaev died in a shootout with police days after the 2013 bombing. Joe Tsarnaev was sentenced to death 2 years after the Boston Marathon bombing, which killed 3 people and injured hundreds more. At the time, an appeals court upheld a decision to keep the trial in Boston, saying other high-profile terrorism cases were tried in the cities where the attacks happened. Live in the studio, Monica Hernandez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Road closed after car knocks down utility pole. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
The year-end clearance is going on now at AutoFair. We've drastically reduced our famously low prices for 1 week only at all 8 AutoFair locations. So come in and get AutoFair's special year-end clearance prices today.
Mammoth Road in Manchester is closed right now between Hanover and Bridge Streets. Police say a driver fell asleep at the wheel just before 3 o'clock this morning and knocked down 2 utility poles. The driver wasn't hurt. Eversource is out there working to repair downed wires. That road is expected to be closed for several hours, so you are urged to avoid that area.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Man charged with assaulting child appears in court. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
The year-end clearance is going on now at AutoFair. We've drastically reduced our famously low prices for 1 week only at all 8 AutoFair locations. So come in and get AutoFair's special year-end clearance prices today.
Searching for answers, members of the State Police Major Crime Unit were stationed outside of this Chicora home after police were called here last night.
At about 8:20 in the evening, we received a report of a minor child who received a significant injury.
Authorities are not releasing the child's name or elaborating on the extent of their injury.
I can't get into releasing that information because it is a minor child, but we are certainly hopeful, for that child's well-being.
Yellow police tape is wrapped around the Deer Hill Road home as detectives try to figure out what exactly happened. And as part of their investigation, they're turning to the public for some help.
If anyone has any information regarding the injury to the child or any history regarding this incident, we'd ask them to call the state police and ask for Detective Sergeant Craig McGinley.
Right now, there's no search for any possible suspects. State police say they believe they have everyone accounted for and people living nearby have nothing to worry about.
We do not feel that the public has any need to be alarmed.
And now state police say they will release more information as their investigation develops. Live here in Tamworth, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this evening. And here's a look at your U.S. stock market for this evening. Dow closes more than 250 points higher in wild session, erases 600-point drop. Stocks closed higher on Thursday, adding to the massive gains from the previous session after a strong surge in the final hours of trading. And now let's take a look at your national and world news. U.S. stocks end higher after roller coaster trading session. U.S. stocks ended higher on Thursday after a roller coaster trading session that swung both negative and positive after Wednesday's bullish milestone. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday night, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. Good night, everyone. Bye.